That this girl is one of the best young talents in tennis. I told you she's got the popularity of a rock star around the world. There's people all over the Philippines going crazy because she has beaten Iga Swiatek, the defending champion, on the centre court with a quite fantastic performance.
Well, it was great for me to see her live and being up close and personal, and I was so impressed with her. What I was impressed with was her mental fortitude, her strength, her mentality. She was the one who looked like she had the 6 major titles. It wasn't Iga Swiatek. Iga Swiatek was anxious. She was nervous.
Imagine traveling to England, expecting a tennis match, only to walk into what felt more like a royal celebration. That is exactly how things seemed for Alex Eala, as English fans erupted every time she stepped onto the court, while rumors claimed the king had allegedly come to support the event. What made this moment so different, and why is everyone still talking about what unfolded next?
I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I'm into the second week of a slam and it's amazing for me. Iga is a phenomenal player and a really nice person, so I'm really grateful to be able to share center court with her at Wimbledon nonetheless. I'm really emotional, and maybe for someone like Iga who has won so many slams, or maybe someone like Serena or Venus, this achievement may seem small, but for someone who grew up in the Philippines and...
What does it take to turn an entire Wimbledon crowd into your biggest supporters? For Alex Eala, the answer was not celebrity status, a mountain of Grand Slam trophies, or years of dominating the sport. Instead, it was fearless tennis, relentless confidence, and a performance so breathtaking that one of the greatest champions in the game simply had no answer.
Starting off, Alex Eala takes out Iga Swiatek in straight sets. Alex Eala is the first Filipino singles player, whether that's on the men's side or the women's side, to reach the second week of Wimbledon. The Filipino community rides for Alex Eala, so this is amazing for them and amazing for Alex. And for the Iga fans, I do think that Iga struggles mentally a little bit. We saw that first tiebreak, which was really, really intense. Iga lost it, and then I think she kind of just lost her moment.
By the time the final point landed, center court was no longer applauding politely. It was roaring for a young Filipina who had just rewritten history before millions of viewers around the world. There is something magical about Wimbledon that cannot be measured by statistics alone.
And the way that Eala went about this match, fantastic to see. We love to see the confidence she kind of came across with, the ability to get down low to hit winners, just unbelievable. And she's obviously carrying the hope and the expectation of her ridiculously strong fan base that follows her around. So an utterly well-deserved win from her. She won despite the fact that she was also stretching out her legs visibly. That first set especially went to a tie break, and it was so back and forth. I can't remember if she won set points.
The oldest tennis tournament in the world has witnessed countless legends walk across its perfectly trimmed grass courts. Yet every now and then it reminds everyone why sports remain so unpredictable. One extraordinary performance is all it takes to change an athlete's career forever, and this year's tournament may have delivered exactly that through Alex Eala.
She has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Alexandra Eala is here, and she's here to dominate. Today, she had the biggest win of her whole career, and so many records were smashed today for her. She's just knocked out the defending champion Iga Swiatek straight sets in her first match at centre court to become the first Filipino player to ever make it to the second week of a Grand Slam. Listen to what I'm saying. This is historical stuff from Eala. Everything about her epitomizes the brilliance of what she is. The grit, the determination, the way she plays attracts so many people to watch her.
For years, tennis fans had heard whispers about a talented youngster from the Philippines who possessed remarkable court awareness, exceptional left-handed shot making, and an attitude that never seemed intimidated by famous opponents. Those whispers gradually became louder after she developed through the renowned Rafa Nadal Academy, where discipline became second nature and competing against elite players was simply another day at work. Even with all that promise, very few people imagined that Wimbledon would become the stage where she would announce herself to the world in spectacular fashion. Then came the draw, and suddenly the mountain in front of her looked almost impossible to climb. Standing across the net was defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek, a player whose resume already placed her among the defining stars of her generation. Most predictions focused on how long Eala could keep the match competitive before experience inevitably took over. Tennis experts discussed Swiatek's consistency, her championship mentality, and her ability to absorb pressure. Meanwhile, Eala quietly prepared as though she had not received the memo that she was supposed to lose. If there is one thing sports fans should have learned by now, it is that rankings never hit the ball. Iga Swiatek was once giving Alex Eala her graduation diploma at the Rafa Nadal Academy, and today the 21-year-old has beaten the reigning champion in the third round of Wimbledon.
I went off to the Nadal Academy in Spain, and when you graduated, it wasn't just Rafa who handed you your diploma, it was Iga Swiatek.
It's insane to think how much has changed in the past 3 years. But I do remember I was so excited to see her because every year for graduation in the academy, they would get a guest, kind of like a guest sports star and athlete. And that year, I remember we got Iga and I was so excited because I was like, oh, hopefully we get someone good. And she like threw her hat with us.
From the opening games, she refused to retreat behind the baseline, constantly taking the initiative and forcing the defending champion into uncomfortable positions. Rather than showing nerves, she displayed remarkable composure, almost as if center court were her favorite neighborhood court back home. The crowd noticed almost immediately. Wimbledon spectators have seen greatness for decades, and perhaps that is exactly why they appreciate fearless underdogs. Every aggressive forehand from Eala generated louder applause. Every successful passing shot brought more fans out of their seats. Even neutral spectators gradually found themselves cheering for the young Filipina because there is something universally appealing about watching someone chase a dream without fear. That atmosphere continued building throughout an unforgettable first set. Every game seemed to carry enormous significance because neither player wanted to blink first. Swiatek fought with the determination expected from a defending champion, while Eala matched her shot for shot with astonishing maturity. The set eventually reached a dramatic tiebreak that felt more like a championship final than a third-round encounter. When Eala somehow escaped with the opening set after an incredible 7-6 tiebreak, center court erupted. Suddenly, the impossible no longer seemed impossible at all. The defending champion was no longer comfortably in control, and the young challenger had discovered something even more valuable than momentum. She had discovered belief. That belief completely transformed the second set.
Far the best set of tennis I've seen throughout the championships. What I love about Eala is she's so clear on what she has to do tactically. Tactically super astute out there. Going in the body serve on the outside was a key play. Also the way she stood in on the second serve, right inside the baseline, dictating the return and getting on the front foot. She was very clear what she had to do. She handled the pressure better, and then after a brutal first set, she gets off to a tear for love, comes out, closes it out, defeats the defending champion. And if she can keep improving that serve, that's the one area in her game which is a little bit of weakness, because when she gets tight, it dropped to about 69 miles an hour. If she can get that serve about 107, 110, this is somebody who's going to win the Wimbledon Championship one day and possibly get to the top 5 in the world. She is that good.
Instead of protecting her lead, Eala became even more aggressive. She attacked second serves, redirected pace with remarkable precision, and refused to allow Swiatek enough time to dictate rallies. Every successful point increased her confidence while simultaneously increasing the pressure on one of the biggest names in women's tennis. Watching the match unfold felt like witnessing someone unlock a new level in a video game, except this was happening on one of the sport's most prestigious courts. Meanwhile, the crowd continued playing its own fascinating role in the story. British tennis fans have always appreciated players who compete with courage, regardless of nationality. Eala's relentless energy, positive body language, and willingness to embrace every challenge made her impossible not to admire, creating an atmosphere that must have felt surreal for someone who had grown up thousands of miles away dreaming about Wimbledon. It almost looked as though center court had adopted her for the afternoon. Perhaps that is why so many viewers joked online that she was being treated like royalty. Every spectacular winner received thunderous applause. Every determined sprint earned admiration. Every smile seemed to generate even more support from the spectators, who sensed they might be witnessing one of the tournament's defining moments. There was no need for dramatic theatrics. because the tennis itself provided more than enough excitement.
Even in Australia at the start of the year, where there was queues to watch her play, now there's going to be numerous amount of queues to even get tickets to her. If you got to watch her before, lucky you, because now she's definitely going to be in the main courts. Iga Swiatek is going to be out of the top 5 rankings now, and she fails to defend that title she won last year. But the day belongs to Eala. She's into the second week. My goodness me, Philippines fans must be going crazy.
As the second set progressed, even seasoned commentators began recognizing that history was within reach. Eala continued producing fearless tennis while refusing to allow the enormity of the occasion to overwhelm her. Instead of tightening under pressure, she appeared increasingly relaxed, almost enjoying every impossible challenge thrown in her direction. Then came the final games. Swiatek searched desperately for answers, but Eala kept finding even better questions. Every attacking return forced another difficult rally. Every confident serve brought her another step closer to history. The defending champion simply could not regain control as the young Filipina continued delivering one fearless shot after another with remarkable precision. When match point finally arrived, millions of viewers held their breath because they understood they were watching something that might be remembered for years. Moments later, it was official. It was one of the biggest upsets of the championship and instantly elevated her from promising prospect to genuine global headline. The celebrations inside the stadium were unforgettable, but what happened after the victory revealed even more about why tennis fans around the world have fallen in love with Alex Eala. Because her reaction off the court proved to be every bit as remarkable as the performance that had just stunned Wimbledon.
Start with Alexandra Eala's biggest win of her career. Yes, she did beat Iga Swiatek in 2025 at the Miami tournament, but this time she beat Swiatek on center court of Wimbledon, which is the biggest stage that we have in the game of tennis. And Alexandra did it in a spectacular fashion. One of the best matches, if not the best match that I've ever seen her play. Prior to the match, I said that it's going to come down to the first serve percentage. Both players needed to serve well to have a chance. And while I don't think that Iga had a poor serving day per se, she did make 68% first serves. The problem came on Iga's second serve. It is here where Iga delivered 5 double faults and only won 32% of her second serve.
The roar inside center court did not disappear once the final handshake was over. If anything, it seemed to grow even louder as thousands of spectators remained on their feet, applauding a performance that had completely transformed the tournament. Wimbledon has always respected greatness, but it has an equally powerful tradition of celebrating fearless challengers who refuse to be intimidated by reputation. Alex Eala had earned that admiration the hard way, and the standing ovation she received reflected far more than appreciation for a single victory. It was recognition that a remarkable new chapter in tennis had just begun. As Eala gathered her belongings and acknowledged every corner of the stadium, the smile on her face captured the emotions of millions of Filipinos watching from home. It was impossible not to appreciate how far she had come from the junior tournaments where only a handful of spectators watched her compete. That journey did not happen overnight, and it certainly was not built on luck. Years of disciplined training, countless hours spent refining every aspect of her game, and the decision to leave home in pursuit of greater opportunities all contributed to this unforgettable moment.
I just cannot get over how good that first set was. It was like ludicrously good. It was like an hour and 25 minutes. And the second set went long as well, just because it was a bit topsy-turvy, but Eala won it relatively straightforward. Just an incredible result for Eala. I'm so happy for her. Swiatek, where does she go from here? Her forehand especially was just visibly hindering her entire game. And players can have like stronger shots, of course you can do that, but Swiatek's forehand is like notably holding her back, notably taking confidence out of the rest of her game. She was visibly getting frustrated multiple times. Just like, and she needs to go away and just work on that, especially. And just there was a little bit, you know, of a sign of like fight back in that second set, but like there was never really kind of an expectation that she would fight back.
Of course, social media wasted absolutely no time joining the celebration. Within minutes of the match ending, timelines across multiple platforms filled with clips of her spectacular winners, emotional reactions from fans, and endless praise for her fearless performance. Even people who admitted they had never watched one of her matches before suddenly wanted to know everything about the young Filipina who had just eliminated one of the biggest names in women's tennis. Some fans joked that Wimbledon had unofficially adopted Alex Eala for the afternoon because the crowd seemed determined to cheer every brilliant shot she produced. Others humorously suggested that British spectators had decided she deserved honorary citizenship after witnessing her fearless display on grass dot. The attention also reflected something much deeper than a single upset. Modern tennis has spent years searching for the next generation capable of challenging established stars, and Eala's performance offered an exciting glimpse into what the future could look like. She combined aggressive baseline tennis with excellent court coverage, intelligent shot selection, and the composure of someone far more experienced than her age suggested. Those qualities immediately convinced many analysts that this victory was not simply a fortunate afternoon, but the result of genuine long-term potential.
Eala continues to make history. She became the first Filipino singles player to reach the round of 16 at a major, and she did it in quite stunning fashion, defeating the defending ladies champion Iga Swiatek 7-6, 6-2. The first set was about 90 minutes long. It was a high quality, pretty entertaining first set from both women, and we saw a number of breaks of serve from them both, and Eala did what she does best. I expected her to do this, which is to attack Iga's second serve relentlessly, and it's smart because Swiatek doesn't respond the best to pace, and she doesn't like being rushed, and Alex did a great job of rushing her throughout this entire match, and we saw a number of wildly hit forehands from Swiatek.
Naturally, defeating Iga Swiatek also forced people to reconsider what might be possible during the remainder of the tournament. Every Grand Slam produces unexpected stories, yet very few victories carry enough significance to reshape the entire draw. Suddenly, Eala was no longer viewed as a pleasant surprise. She had become a legitimate contender capable of testing any opponent fortunate or unfortunate enough to stand across the net. Unlike those who underestimated Eala before her meeting with Swiatek, very few observers were willing to make the same mistake twice. One extraordinary victory immediately creates another enormous expectation. Instead of asking whether Eala belonged at Wimbledon, people now wondered how far she could actually go. That shift in perception demonstrated just how dramatically her status had changed within a matter of hours. Watching Eala compete with such confidence against one of tennis's elite players sent an encouraging message to aspiring players everywhere. Dreams become much easier to believe when someone from your part of the world turns them into reality.
Alexandra Eala, who has the slowest average speed on her second serve in the top 50 of the WTA Tour rankings. Alexandra won 55% of her second serve points, and she also got 62% of first serves in play. And if you're confused by these numbers, let me simplify it for you. Alexandra Eala happens to have one of the best, if not the best, second serve returns on the WTA Tour. So the reason why I said Iga needed to get a high first serve percentage, which she did in this match, is that Iga happens to be a player who rolls her second serve. In other words, she kicks a lot of her second serves. Now, Iga knows how good Eala is on the returner serve. And that explains the 5 double faults, because this is where Iga was trying to put a little bit more pressure on Alexandra.
Her victory also reminded experienced tennis fans why they continue falling in love with the sport year after year. Statistics can predict probabilities, rankings can estimate favorites, and experts can analyze every possible scenario. Yet none of those calculations can fully account for the confidence, courage, and determination that appear when an athlete refuses to accept the expected outcome. Wimbledon has built its legendary reputation on moments exactly like this, where history quietly changes direction in front of a captivated audience. And analysts searched for clues about whether this remarkable run still had another unforgettable chapter waiting to be written. One thing, however, had already become crystal clear. Regardless of what happened in her next match, Alex Eala had achieved something far more valuable than a single upset victory. She had earned the respect of the tennis world, captured the hearts of Wimbledon spectators, and inspired countless young dreamers who now believe that even the sport's greatest stages are never out of reach for those courageous enough to chase them.